Peace, what's up? Welcome back to Realize TV. This is the one, the only Israel, the Godhead, the Solar Sapien, the Street Scholar, the Young Elder, all that represent that Crescent City. You got my man in the building, the God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Elder Ty Lee, a.k.a. Ross Whedon. Understand? 7 Ward, New Orleans. Full effect.
Yeah, and about to just give y'all a new addition to Realize TV. This is Streets of Urantia episode. We just be about to introduce y'all to the Urantia. Let L introduce y'all to the Urantia. And it's some deep stuff. It's real interesting. We have the actual hard copy up right here. The Urantia book. And this your work.
True that.
So the first question I want to ask to you, first of all, too, I want to say greetings and thank everybody from about to check this out. It's gonna be real interesting, little quick hour. We bringing information, informing the mind. So here we go. And the first thing I'm gonna ask you about is like the Urantia. What the Urantia means to you? What is the Urantia book to you?
Well, the Urantia book, to me, it's a life-changing book. It's a life-changing book of information, knowledge, a lot of edits to what we thought and what we were taught in this world and within basically in scripture. It weeds out a lot of the problems we find in religion, religion matching up with science and history, stuff like that, philosophy, so they kind of, the writers of the book will kind of put together, reunite information that I guess at one time, I ain't gonna say prevalent, but things from a time that we should know today, especially pertaining to the Christ, pertaining to our relationship with God and our relationship to the universe. So some people call it an alien Bible. Some people say it's written by angels, but.
All right, what I want to know is what the book means to you before we go into explaining everything about the book. Like, just what does the information mean to you outside of what's in the book? What does it mean? What has it done for you?
The information within the Urantia book has changed me from what I would say a spiritual person to a higher spiritual person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it makes you firmer in your belief in God, and it answers a lot of questions pertaining to Jesus Christ.
All right. So with that being said, second thing I want to ask you then, is the Urantia book a religious book, or is it Christianity? Because you mentioned Jesus and everything. So when people naturally hear Jesus, you automatically equate Jesus to Christianity. So it ain't I hear people say, when you mention Jesus Christ, that belongs to the world of Christianity, right? So, I want you to elaborate a little more on the book, but right now, I just want to know, is the Urantia book, to you, how you explain the book, because it may not be that to somebody else, but how you explain the book, is it a religious book or is it Christianity?
I say it's a spiritual book, and by the definition of Christianity that I know, meaning something pertaining to Christ, then I would say, yeah, it's a Christian book, because it's mainly for the believers of Christ that believe in Jesus Christ. So we have to try to just find the true teachings of Jesus Christ.
So you're saying it's not a religious book, but it is Christian.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's spiritual.
It's spiritual. But Christianity is a religion, right?
Okay, Christianity.
No, in regards to
Can
the
I
book.
touch into the book?
Yeah.
Their definition?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in the book, they made claims that Paul, um, with his teachings, trying to teach.
Oh, that's good. Because that was my next question, bro. What does the Urantia talk about? So, yeah, talk about that. Because we were asking, is it a religious book or is it Christianity? You say it is Christian, and you're about to talk about, what does the Urantia talk about? And the first thing you're about to talk about is Paul and explaining Christianity and religion.
True.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So how they designed the book, they use terms that we know. So whether Paul was represented a nation, or if Paul was a person, or no matter what Paul was, we were taught Paul was this Bible character. So this source called Paul created Jesus Christ based off of Horus, Mithra, Helen, the sun gods.
In the Urantia.
Yeah, to try to get the Romans, to try to get the people on that side of the Mediterranean to believe in the true Yahshua. They teach you in the book that his name was Yahshua, and that they teach you that Jesus was a name later given to him through religious factions, but Yahshua was distorted. It started with Paul. So instead of creating a religion of Jesus, Paul created a religion about Jesus. And so Paul created that, putting Jesus in this God aspect. So that's from the book.
All right. Now, I'm going to go back to that because it's like I kind of like got ahead of myself. Because before you can know what some talk about, you got to know who wrote it, right?
Right.
So, let's talk about that. Because I got hip to the Urantia like in 2011, 2010, 2011. Everybody was talking about the world going to be changing and the world ending and 2012 coming and all that stuff. And that was one of the, the Beru information, all that type of stuff was going around. So I wanted to, check out that side of the story. So that's one of the books that I ran across like in 2011, 2010, the end of 2010, that December, like. And I've been in and out researching it ever since. But because you're explaining this, well, who wrote the book? Who wrote the book Urantia? Who wrote this book here? It's like big as a Bible. If y'all see, it's like
2,000 pages.
Okay, so who wrote
Front
this?
and back.
You can use
no
the book
images, no drawings.
to open up
all words. The book was written by a bunch of different.
you can go in there and explain because the name's in there. If you want to go exact.
It was written by a bunch of different personalities. Like at the end of each chapter, it'll tell you who it was written by. You have some personalities we familiar with. Like some might say it was written by a seraphim. Some might say written by a cherubim. Some might say written by Melchizedek, which are a group of angels. Some might say written by someone from the order of Melanated sons, because God has many orders of sons. Melanated, Urantia, Melchizedek.
But you're messing people head up, mention them names, because nobody probably never heard of melanated and stuff. So that's why we introduced you, Urantia. But I want you to explain some of the authors, how does it go? Because the Bible, people familiar with the Bible, they say you have Genesis, you have Numbers, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy. You have all those type of names, books, and then you have certain, Moses wrote this and Isaiah wrote that, and those different names, right? So I want you to go into explaining who wrote the book or who wrote parts of the book. Explain to the people who wrote it and why it was written even.
Okay, that's perfect. The reason for the book, and it was in the 1930s. The world at that time was more distorted than ever about Jesus Christ.
In the 1930s,
In the 30s, right?
Okay.
I think that was maybe the time. Not, I ain't gonna say it was the time, but at that time you had many different religious sources, like religions about Jesus, right? Different Christian groups. You had Baptists, Protestant, what all they were, ecclesiastical, Jehovah's Witness. Like, right, you had all these different.
You said in the 1930s, you even had the Nation of Islam and all kind of different things came along.
Right. So at this time, the world is more distorted than ever about the true Yahshua, the Christ. So the Urantia Book is an attempt for a particular group of angels that made a request made a request to Christ, because he's alive and well in the heavens, in the universes. You know, that if we want to say he was risen, but we understand that he was before he came to the earth. He already existed. So they asked, could they come and give the earth correct his story on the earth, and they were given permission to deliver the book. And the book came through, there was this guy, he had a sleeping disorder. So I believe that angels did deliver the book. So through man, the book was delivered within a week.
Okay, so as we said, it's many authors. All right, now get back into
many authors.
Into what what the book talks about.
Okay, so the book is basically giving us another a supposedly true teaching of the earth from the Big Bang to the death of Christ. And it's 100% about our relationship with Christ and God. The rest of the information is, we have to tell you these things to talk about these things.
Let me ask you this right fast, because you said this talks about the Big Bang to Christ. Do it talks about what happened before the Big Bang? Do we get into any information about, pre-creation?
The only information,
because I heard there's supposedly battles that took place and stuff, So
nah, the war in heaven was the war in heaven was that was after creation.
All right.
You feel me? That was actually maybe over the creation, but you got to think like this. I want to say Christ maybe said it in the Bible. It said that something about as many grains of sand there is. Something about the grains of sand. Well, think of the number quadrillions. There's over quadrillions of planets with humans just like us on them. That's governed by, that's created by God, according to this book. So each,
and that's like the beginning of creation.
There are many. We are the youngest.
All right.
We are the youngest world.
So that prior creation, the book talks about prior creations before this world being created.
Yeah, prior creations.
That's what I'm trying to get.
Prior creations, as far as they don't go into details as what's going on in these worlds, but just prior creations as far as speaking on their many their quadrillions of inhabited human worlds in the super universe, because they break down the levels of the universes from super universes to smaller universes to universes, and we're of the youngest of the universes and planets. Each quadrant of the universes have their own Christ.
All right, in this book, the Urantia clearly explains all of what you're saying.
Yep. In detail, bro. In detail, they break down. There's an order. Our Christ, Jesus Christ, Yahshua, whatever you want to call him, the actual God that stepped down in a man's flesh and walked among the people, whomever you know him as, he's a group of him. There's a group of him. Like there's an order of those sons. They call them, they are the sons of God, but not the sons of God that made it with man. It's not the same sons of God, but he's from a group of sons that create worlds. And for the Bible people, Hebrews 1, it tells you that through a son, not the son, not the only son, through a son, meaning one of them, through a son, the worlds was made. So in the book of Hebrews, it says it, through a son, the worlds were made. There's an order of sons called Michaels. He's the angel Michael is this son. He was what makes him an angel is same. Hebrews 1 states that this son, his greatness, the only difference he is from the angels is his name. So yes, he is an angel, but he's a Michael. So their jobs are to create worlds, and they have to live as the beings in those worlds that they create. So he had to come and live as a man, and he had to die the way men die. He could have drowned, he could have choked on a chicken bone, but he died fighting the church, like many of us have done.
And that's in the Urantia.
It's all in the Urantia.
The Christ, Jesus. Okay, so let's say for the naysayers out there, people be like, oh man, here come some more Christian stuff, some more Christian literature, some more Christian propaganda. Is the Urantia real? Would you say the Urantia is a fiction book?
I say it's real because it's things in the book. I could give an example. Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe was found, I think, in 2011. They discovered it and start excavating it after that. But the Urantia book and Göbekli Tepe, they found that it's 5,000 to 7,000 years older than Egypt. The location of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, the Urantia book said that Adam and Eve's first son, his name was Adam's son. And their second son, his name was Eve's son. Adam's son they gave north, he went this way, that way. They gave pretty much the direction he went and built his city. And they specifically said that it was 5,000 years older than Egypt. And
so let me ask you, how would that be explained that it's real or fiction though? Like,
well, because the book came out because that was written in 1930. That there was a city in that location.
What was written in 1930?
That Adam and Eve's son built a city in
You're
this.
saying that in the Urantia
in
was
the Urantia book
already.
The Urantia book came in 1934. It was written and given to the people to produce it and put it out. They didn't put it out until 1955, but it was given to them as a finished book in 1934.
Okay. Now we're gonna chop that question because you mentioned it was given to some people, and I'm asking the question,
to the foundation, to the Urantia Foundation, who's selling the book, fake? And I'm explaining. I'm giving an example of the real.
No need to force.
I'm showing you where it's real.
Let me ask you a question first.
Mm-hmm.
So you say it was given to some people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who these people was? And if you do know, can you explain who these people were, what kind of organization it was, and what did they do?
It was a group of doctors that normally met up in Chicago. They normally met up on weekends to have Bible studies. Their religious preference.
So they were studying the Bibles first.
Their religious preference was Seventh-day Adventists.
Mm-hmm.
That they practiced that religion, Seventh-day Adventists.
All right.
That's a Christian religion about Jesus Christ. And it came through a patient that a pair of doctors, they were a husband and wife. They were studying this guy. He had a sleep disorder. Average guy, but lower average because he only had like maybe third grade education. The school was bad at that time, hard at that time. He come from poor family, so he wasn't educated enough at all to write this. And he delivered this in 4 days. So what happened, when he fall asleep, he would start talking. And he would talk to them. And they like, he sleep, talking in his sleep. But he was saying things like, I'm a Melchizedek. I'm a Ancient of Days. The different personalities were speaking to him about different matters. So they asked him a bunch of questions about the beginning of the world, about Christ, about God, about this, about that. So pretty much the Urantia book is their answers to a lot of their questions that they asked. And a lot of the information, like the names, the things you're going to read that you never heard of ever, you only going to find in this book. And they're only mentioning it because they have to tell you that too, to tell you this. I have to tell you where I came from to understand why I feel how I feel about where I came from. So they're going to give you a lot of information you won't ever know until you leave this world. You won't ever prove until you leave this world.
So you're saying...
But my proof that the book is real is in 1934, this book was given. It came out in 55, and they said that there's a city in this particular location in Turkey that's 5,000 years older than Egypt.
Is Urantia, you considered it New Age space Christianity then? Since you in the beginning of the conversation, you said it is Christian, and you say the Seventh-day Adventists were the receivers of the information. So they talk about a lot of Galactic Federation stuff. So would you say that's a new Urantia, the Urantia book is a form of New Age space Christianity?
Mm-hmm. I would accept that.
All right.
I would accept that.
All right. So now with that being said, why should people learn about the Urantia book? Is the Urantia book not for all people? The book is it not for all people? Trying to keep it positive.
I think the Urantia is for all people, bro. Like when the Urantia, if you look at where the Urantia have gone since it's been here, it's been translated. It's almost translated in every culture. So that means these people reading it is around the world because it's about the world. We all are the one people. We all are the same people. We just look different. So we all people. So we all are children of the Creator.
So I'm asking you to learn about the book. I want you to just share with the people why should they learn about it.
I think people should learn about the book because it's good information pertaining to your soul leaving this planet. The Urantia explains to you your journey after death. Christ died, rose in 3 days. That was the example of what happens to the human. We die, we rise in 3 days. We wake up. The preacher used to tell you in church, you get a new body. If you don't have legs, you get new legs when you get in heaven. Like all those philosophies and them teachings come from the truth. You get a whole new body. And they teach you to see the scriptures for what they are. Cain killed Abel, went to the land of Nod, found a wife. The Urantia book explained to you about the land of Nod, who the people were in the land of Nod with Christ. Christ, when he came back to life, the people that he went to, they didn't know who he was until he started talking to them. They realized that was him. So that's proof that he was in another body. You get a new body that could explore space without a spacesuit, because there's multiple worlds you're going to go to. There's multiple beings you're going to meet. Star Wars, George Lucas, he know this. George Lucas movies, he know this. Like the movies is the truth, but we cut off from that.
So
according to the book, we cut off from that.
All right, that's cool. Let me ask you this. So is the Urantia a type of Christian book to where you could use it how black Christians and black ministers and preachers use the Bible to be, going from people and stuff and say, turn to this chapter and, hoop and holler and not even hoop and holler, because I'm not disrespecting, but some hoop
No,
and
you're
holler
right. You're right.
and give a good dissertation on it. So do you think that the Urantia book can be used like the Bible, in regards to being on the pulpit in front of people, turning this chapter, right, and all of that?
When I hear Minister Farrakhan preach, he sound like a Baptist preacher. He hoop and holler. Like, they learn how to do that. Like, that's to get people involved. So you could do that if you want with this information. But with this information, definitely sit down. It give you values. It teach you values. It encourages you to make it through the day. It teach you oneness. It teach you. They even go to the part of how to tax people, how to tax your nation, and dividing up the tax money to make it work out for the elderly, for the young, for education, for this, for that. They teach a lot of values that would benefit not just people, but the nation. They talk about praying, meditating. Prayer is basically meditation, but to do it in a group, we all praying for the success of the country, of the whole country. One prayer, the same prayer for the same thing. Let's say if if the president pull out a bucket of people who need prayer. Mr. Smith having heart surgery next week, and the whole country, everybody around the country,
Right.
Everybody around the country at 5 o'clock, we're gonna all at one time pray for Mr. Smith to make it through. He gonna make it through. Like people
using the Urantia. That what you saying?
Well, the Urantia saying that's how teaching you the power, how powerful prayer is. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
So
you
talking
have
about Christianity.
Yeah, you have individuals.
So let me ask you this. That's a good example. Okay, let me ask you this, because in Christianity they believe in the end of the world and hellfire and revelations and stuff like that, and annihilation and shit, right?
Right.
So do the Urantia book talks about the annihilation and revelation and the fighting of the beast and the 666 and the marks and all this the things of Revelation, the visions of John and the destruction of the world for the righteous king to come and stuff.
Nah.
They don't talk about that?
Nah, okay. the Urantia book, it tells you.
They don't go into that.
Nah, it tells you what scriptures are valid in the Bible, but you would automatically, once I read that all those books in the Bible, majority of the books in the oldest books in the Bible, because we know now today, like the newest books of the Bible, but the original books of the Bible, they came from Egypt. Like the Urantia tell you that Moses taught these people this knowledge, and that it was Egyptian knowledge that he taught them, because that's what he was taught. It was the Hebrew priests that changed the knowledge into Hebrew knowledge, from Egyptian knowledge into Hebrew knowledge. So they kept certain scriptures that would fit with what they believed in.
So you're saying that's in the Urantia?
Yeah, it's in the Urantia.
So this guy who the Seventh-day Adventist was talking to, they asked him questions about Egypt, and they put that in the book?
No, they asked him
you don't
stuff.
know the details.
No, they asked him, was Moses real?
No,
Seventh-day Adventists believe in what most Christians believe in.
I'm asking how.
I'm telling you what the questions were formulated.
No, my question is like, how did the Egyptian thing get in?
I'm telling you how it came out. If I ask that,
so those guys was asking him.
One of their questions must have been, I'm assuming, because I wasn't there, they didn't go in detail of their questions, but we know that these were formulated from questions. But if someone asked me, from the knowledge that I've learned in this book, how I answer this question, if someone say, man, was Moses real? I'm going to say, according to this, I might say Moses is Akhenaten, the Pharaoh Akhenaten,
Okay.
but I'm going to definitely say Moses was real, but his name wasn't Moses. But the man that did what they say Moses did, as far as taking a group of people out of Egypt and creating a religion, creating from them, the Hebrew religion, that happened.
All right, let me ask you this.
And it was Egyptian knowledge that they used to create their religion. So
let me ask you this, because I've been looking
Christianity
at
is really Egyptian knowledge.
I could go to two things I found. I found one thing about melanin in that book, and it says that these first humans were created with melanin. I could go right to it. And another thing I found in that book was one of their first prophets' name is Onagar. Onagar. However y'all pronounce that, people, I say Onagar. All right? And they say now, like, that's their first human prophet who taught people righteousness and stuff. So I find it kind of peculiar that, like, 2 pages right next to each other. One page they talking about melanin, and the next page they calling their first prophet Onagar. So, with that being said, do you think that cause I'm pretty sure these Seventh Adventists were non-melanated people, you know. So do you think that this book is for all humans, since, like, I could show you now, they mentioned that these first generations of beings from these 2 beings that they call Anda and Fanta, that, you know, are melanated and stuff. So are they talking about black people? Because we know what melanin is. Or they talking about non-melanated people in this book?
Well,
who this book is for?
The book is for everybody.
Okay, because we did say that about learning. You said
it's for everybody. Well, when you test.
My question is then, since it's for everybody, because I'm asking about.
I was gonna add to what you saying.
Oh, well, go ahead then.
Because they've tested the Lilius Lightus.
The who?
The Lilius. You know Lily White.
Got
you know the Lilius of the non-melanated, and they've had in their DNA.
You talking about in Urantia?
No. This in our world, in our reality, they've tested the lightest of the non-melanated, and they've come back, many of them, with the darkest of the Saharan DNA. So my claim is the Urantia Book tell you that the first were melanated. So the rest of us came from the first. So the ones who are non-melanated, they just lightly melanated. I wouldn't consider them non-melanated, because when you check their DNA, they're gonna have we in their DNA. Melanated is in their DNA. So it's just not showing, it's just not enough, because they're so far off.
Well, that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
That's my word.
So that's why I say it's for everybody.
But I have my reason why I call them non-melanated. I'm gonna just throw that out there.
Yeah,
We're going to that another day.
Because all humans, there's no chosen. The Hebrews created that chosen. We the chosen of God. We the chosen ones. We the children of God. We the chosen of God. Like, God chose all man. God chose man. Not
why in the Urantia they chose Onagar? Because that's my question.
The name?
My question, yeah, that's my
the
question.
word?
If you remember, I just asked you. I was asking you about.
But you
melanin.
know the nigga is the original. Where you think nigga come from?
So
like
so nigga comes out the Urantia. Nigga.
That's what we was calling. It's our terms, man.
Right, people.
These terms
so
old.
Y'all see it. Y'all go
These
check
terms
it out.
old.
That's
we ancient.
His name is Onagar.
We ancient, man. We
ancient.
Like, that's the new people, man. That's the new people.
So my next question would be this.
Just the new people. They come from me, Fire.
That's cool, but my next question is this. What, so many people been into Christianity, with over 70% of blacks of melanated people, over 70% profess or claim some form of Christianity. Why isn't this book, since you say it came out in 1955, why isn't this book like more powerful in the Christian community, the quote unquote black Christian community? Because it's talking about Jesus and stuff, and people love Jesus so much.
Well,
and this is a lot of information talking about a Christ or a person and stuff. So why you think it's not no debate question?
No debate.
Just asking
No debate.
why you think
I'm gonna give you
that more people are not gravitating towards this form of
the
Jesus.
best way I could break that down is to go to urantia.org and subscribe to the newsletter, and they post regularly the growth of the book, and the people just not speaking on it, people not talking about it, because the things that's in it, if you just run around with this information, you crazy. Nobody, oh man, it's conflict, because you're gonna tell a Christian, don't believe that, believe this. Don't believe that, believe this. That's real, that's not real. Like, you're gonna come chop up the Bible, and then you're gonna tell the Muslim that, man, Muhammad was a Christian. Christianity was around long before Muhammad. Muhammad was a child when Paul was teaching Christianity. So Muhammad was a Christian. So you can't tell me that Islam is older than Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Because the teachings been around.
So you're saying
this is information.
It's gonna lead to conflict.
It's definitely gonna lead to conflict.
But I thought Jesus was supposed to be bringing love and stuff. So why you think it wouldn't bring the? You say it would bring conflict because you just.
I remember Jesus
that.
saying he was gonna tear down the temple and rebuild it. So he said he was gonna tear down something. I remember Jesus going in the temple, flipping over tables and tearing up something. So there's a side of Jesus people don't know about.
No, I'm talking about in Urantia, though. Like,
I mean, I'm just speaking on. You have to tear something down to rebuild it. So,
Masonic thought.
Yeah,
but
hey, I mean, everything has a genesis.
So you think people not gravitating towards Urantia because that's the question I want you to answer.
I think people are gravitating to it. They're just not speaking on it.
They're not speaking on it.
Nah, they're not speaking on it. Yeah, I think they're in denial, because unless the foundation lying about the growth of the book and the sales of the book and things like that, then it's not true. But I've met many people that if they don't own it, they came across it.
Okay, here's a question.
They heard of it.
Here's a question. Why was the Urantia book big in the New Orleans Rasta community? Like, why was that one of the main books that the the brothers in the Rasta community gravitate towards?
Because most of the brothers in New Orleans, born and raised in New Orleans, that went into the Rasta lifestyle, they were coming from backgrounds of Christianity, Islam, Dr. York. They were coming from these other
the main things that we get
consciousness. Yeah, so it was easy to believe in learning that the aliens are angels. So it's the same beings. Dr. York taught you of aliens. The Urantia tell you the aliens are angels. Christianity tell you that the angels. So they all relating, so it's easy to accept it.
So you're saying Rasta? No, because I'm like, why the Rasta brothers found it easier to deal with the book?
That's what I think.
And the other so-called strong, go to Sunday every day Bible beating ass people don't mess with it. So the Rasta, that's my question. Why?
Well, they don't mess with it because
not them, but the Rasta. Because the most people who I talk to who know about this are only Rastas, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I asked the question in the beginning was, why you think so many Rasta brothers down here gravitated
I think
toward
they
it.
groomed.
Kind of went off into it. And
They groomed to understand it.
going back to the Christian
They
upbringing.
groomed to accept, and the alien stuff, like the
Okay.
space stuff.
Okay.
The Christian groomed to not accept it.
Okay.
You
All
know,
right.
because of the space stuff,
Gotcha.
and because of the what so-called
The Luciferian rebellion.
lies
and
about
all that
Christ.
Stuff and,
You know, the Urantia said Christ didn't walk on
So
water.
let me ask you this. Do you think some Christian, if you was to go Sunday, tomorrow is Sunday. If you was to go tomorrow to a church and be like, yo man, look, this is the Urantia Book, this is the teachings of Christ, I would like to share this with the congregation. You think a nigga, one of these preachers would be like looking at you crazy, like, man, this nigga crazy, would they give it a chance if you come with a big ass fat book like this, bigger than most of the Bibles, and you say this is all about Jesus, right? And I just want to share some of this, all this about Jesus. How did you think they would react?
It wouldn't.
No, just hypothetically speaking.
I think it wouldn't be. I think their reaction wouldn't be no different than them reading one of T.D. Jakes' books. You know, T.D. Jakes. We have our opinions of him, but he wrote, his books were powerful. His books sold. It changed lives. So it would be taken like that, I would assume.
So I'm saying, you think a nigga let you get up there and preach? I mean, you know, drop some knowledge from the book. That was my question. Like,
if you stay away from the things that contradict their religion, but once that minister gonna check it out. He gonna read it. Like, before he let you teach the people, he gotta make sure that you teaching according to the curriculum of the church. You know.
That's a no. That's a fucking
You know,
no.
he don't want to get the church shut down.
That's a no. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it's a lot of things that y'all can learn about the Urantia. This is Streets of Urantia. So we're talking about the Urantia book. You know, this nigga always trying to get on some fucking fuss shit, but we ain't doing that because he loved that Urantia.
Oh, fuss and preaching.
Love that Urantia
I'm a
book.
Baptist.
So,
I come out the Baptist church.
So that's why I wanted to interview him on that Urantia.
I'm a rah-rah.
And
that's all.
But this is Streets of Urantia. We talking about the Urantia book.
We kept it
and,
right.
Some people are familiar with it. Some people may, after hearing this information, want to get more familiar with it. Because there is more information out here. This is the age of information. That's the thing that get me when people be scared to check out different avenues of understanding. You know, so that's something that's been around, like you say, since 1955. You know, it's written by various authors, spiritual beings. And, you know, it gets into science, it gets into history, it gets into a few metaphysical things. It explains a lot from that perspective. So for me, I think people out here who into Christianity, you know, I ain't gonna get into all the negative stuff of Christianity. But for people who love Jesus, there's more to learn about Jesus, you know, and there's more information out here to understand. If you really love Jesus, there's more information out here for you to understand, right? But this ain't, you know, so we talking about the Streets of Urantia. You know where I stand, totally grand, you know what I mean? So we gonna roll out on that note. This is Israel the Godhead, the Solar Sapien, the original Young Elder was rocking that before niggas put that on their name on YouTube. But whatever. And y'all saw Chiefed Out running it. We about to shut this down. Hope y'all liked it. This is the first episode of Streets of Urantia. So we're gonna be coming back with some more information, relatable information. And, you know, and digging off into the Urantia too for all my Christian people out there who not scared to elevate and go in space with Jesus.
True that. That's real.
So
that's
I'm gonna leave y'all on that note. And no, I ain't do no buy for me shit. I did do like that. And they said, oh, you doing the buy for me? It's a mind control. It's a program that a lot of people fight, even me. You know what I'm saying? So, but whatever. Once again, this is the Godhead Nutcher Israel.
And I'm Alde Ta Ali, a.k.a. Ross Weird.
It's another episode of Realize TV, the streets of Urantia. Hope y'all enjoyed it. And we be back at y'all with some more shit.
Yes, sir. Bless.
Ciao.